Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session hosted by To Data and Beyond. In this webinar, our special speaker will be Cornelius Yudha. He will speak about preparing for AI interviews in the age of generative AI and LLMs. We will discuss how the interviews landscape is shifting, what skills are now to be expected, and how candidates can stand out in today's AI-driven job market. Our speaker has more than 6 years leading enterprise data science teams like Allianz and deploying LLM-powered tool. He bridges the gap between technical team and business stakeholders. In addition to this, he also has written more than 500 articles for platforms like KDNuggets, Machineelearningmastery, and Toward Data Science. And he is the founder of Non-Brand Data. Welcome to our session, and thanks for your time and for for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much, also yourself, yeah, and everyone. Hello, yeah, it's really nice to talk with you all, yeah, especially in this kind of climate to talk about the AI and what it changes. It's everything that I do right now, and it's kind of harsh,
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Would you like to share your
But,
screen or?
yeah, let me. I was like try to find some button, yeah. So I was try, yeah. So I think I will try to list our discussion in here, yeah, as well with yourself, and of course, like we're going to have a discussion more later. But I want to try to share some of the my insight a little bit before we are going to have a little bit more deeper regarding what will be our topic today. So let me try to share my screen, but I cannot find it just now. Sorry, it's kind of hard to share the screen because it was closed.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, you can, right? Or
yeah.
yeah, great. Yeah,
Can you see my screen?
yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just prepare a small slide. So I just try to want to make it a more a concept about what we're going to speak today. So let's what I was going to share today is that how we can actually prepare for the AI job interview, especially in this age of generative AI and LLM. And of course, you have already told us that we will try a little bit talking about how the interview are going to be shaped and how what you can do to make it stand out and how I want to especially share from my experience regarding because I have already experienced not just as an interviewee but also being interviewed by the people as well. So it's like have like a two side of the coin that it will be interesting. So yeah, Yosef already told me about my experience. So I usually before working more in the data science field, but of course I also working previously in the Allianz and right now in the tech industry, what I call the Arif. So I can really right now is a co-founder as well. So in the AI startup basically. So I interview people quite often because we have like a in and out as well. And it's become much more interesting as a leader to have like a different side of what we actually need as an organization. So when we are talking about AI interview in general even, it means that we actually need to adhere what kind of the organization need there. So what I want to share before is after this is more about how the organization itself kind of see the interview and the talent that they actually need. So I want to share a little bit of the statistic that happen right now. So this is something that I found in the Microsoft lately. So if we could say that there's a statistic right now that the leaders say that early in career talent right now because of the AI we have.
Sorry for interrupting. Did you move the
So,
slide because I only see the first page?
oh, sorry, I already moved my slide. Sorry. Let me share it once more then. I
Yeah,
already
please.
share my slide. Okay. Maybe I just share it like this.
Yeah, now I can see the
Just share it
second
like this.
slide. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Maybe I
Yeah,
just share it like this.
yeah. Now
Maybe
it's
it's
good. Yeah,
much better. Yeah.
yeah.
So, all right. Yeah. So these are the statistics that I found from the Microsoft. So it's interesting that if we're talking about the survey as the organization, as the leader, right now, we could say like 70% if we are surveying him. A leader would say that early in career talent I would say like early career is like a fresh graduate or like someone who switched their career to like a data science job or like even like a job or even like switch to any career right now will have like a greater, much more responsibility due to AI. Because as AI become a tool that already being become a tool that everyone could use right now to increase their productivity, it will basically push people to you can do it better, you can do it more, you can do it much faster.
Yeah.
So it's like already something that yeah, you see, like even I told my subordinate, so my employee, like, yeah, you can you please produce me this kind of document or could you produce this kind of code? You can use AI, it will be faster. But because I can say like you can do it faster, uh, the responsibility is become higher because I could say to them like, yeah, you can use AI right with this. So that's why like right now early in career is expected to actually have like a greater responsibility because in AI itself. And right now, as the survey said as well, that 71% leaders is actually more likely to have a less experienced candidate if they have an AI skill than a more experienced one without them. So when we said usually AI skill, this is like a general AI skills, but usually the organization is already see it as like a ChatGPT or like some kind of generative AI. But this is still an important skill. Like even like a less experienced candidate is already being seen as a much more attractive in this current climate, in the current climate, job climate, as it's become a tool that people already said that, yeah, this is like something that will be important in the organization. Like when I'm working in the Allianz previously in my previous organization, everyone is already right now expected to be able to use AI, even like in the early beginning. Like, but when I say using AI, it's much more like a generative AI, like as a user level, not as a developer or not as a you could try to create your own model, but it's more like as a general user. But it's
Mm.
still a skill that actually already being important in any kind of a job. Right now, when I talk about AI interview, of course, like it could be like when you want to secure an AI position. But when these kinds of surveys join up, it's much more about AI skill that generally applicable to kind of any job. But yeah, it's like people who have less experienced candidate, even if you want already learn some AI, you will be having like much more better mm, prospect basically if you already know like some generative AI. And of course, like 66% leader will say like they will not hire someone without AI skill right now. So this is like something that become critical, an expertise that things that people need to learn. I mean, like I know, like right now, you're as the audience maybe already have like a much better understanding because maybe already coming from the data background, already
Mm.
coming from the AI background. Yeah, of course, like having much better understanding in here. But of course, if you want to apply it to any kind of job right now, I think it's like already, yeah, AI is become important because HR is already looking at it. Uh, Company is looking at it. Every kind of leader is looking at it. All the things that we could say AI. It is because like in every department right now, especially generative AI, they already have like an increase. They already deliver a much more high ROI when we are said about generative AI. In every department, you could increase the productivity, they could increase the revenue, and cost a decrease. So right now, even if you are applying for a job like a data analyst or like applying for a job like a business intelligence, like it's already being expected as well to have like a generative AI skill that useful because it's something that I already expected as well when I interview not just for an AI engineer that for my company or like for a position of data scientist, but even like the position for like the sales or like even like for the marketer, I expected that they already understand to using the AI, and this is like becoming a much more interesting because when we are say that they could use AI, it means like it's having like a different level. Like if like as a user or like as developer, it will be like having a different kind of conversation. But let's talk about it later. But I want to talk about little about the maturity itself, like in the company before we are moving out as an interviewer, because like different when we are said about AI maturity, it will be affected how you are actually being interviewed during the stages, because as depending on what kind of the company that you are applying it, your necessity, your skill that important during the development or like the progress of the company will be different as well. Like a company that maybe you're applying is not much having AI or like data or technology that actually applicable there. As an AI developer or as an AI engineer, your skill might be much more broader, or even I would say they doesn't even know what they want. So I would say like they just want to usually like a company that have like AI skepticism is most like okay, I could just like hire anyone that understand AI. I could just like hire anyone that understand data science, and yeah, let's just start to exploring. So like if you are applying for this kind, if they are actually open a job like for an AI engineer or like a data scientist, but you know that this company doesn't have application yet in there, then yeah, your during your interview, during your skill what you need might be only just yeah whatever that they need, just whatever usually. But if you're already going to up there, you have like in the company that already have like in the stage two, stage three, stage four. Yes, we already will speak a different kind of the skill that we are needing, we are required. So for example, like we already start small scale initiative. Maybe they already understand like the data pipeline is there, the environment for the Python, for example, is already there, or like for the development is already there. So the skill that will be from this stage two will be already different, and they of course will be talking about a different thing as well. And then if you're already moving up to the stage five as maturity, yeah, the skill that will necessary for this kind of company will be really really different, because this AI is already being integrated with the company as well. It's already being there. So depending on the company that you're applying, it will be great if you are know what kind of the maturity level. It's kind of hard maybe if you are not understanding the company from the outside. But yeah, you should always ask, or you could try to exploring their website. But usually this what I do as well before they try to assessing what their AI level yet, their AI level, then try to understanding what kind of skill that will be necessary during their stage. But is it if I talk about the organization, because like depending on the organization, what we are bringing to the table will be different, and that's why like depending on the what we want to going on, what we already learned, maybe we could try to going for the company that yeah maybe just already mature enough, or maybe just like something that doesn't have any kind of basis yet. So, but this is just a little bit about the AI itself. But if we are talking about AI, it's actually a broad. If we are talking about AI, yeah, this is the age of generative AI and language model. Everything is about right now is about a text generation, image generation. But if we are talking about AI, if you are talking just in general, AI is like actually really broad. Like if you kind of dissect it, the solution could be like generative AI. We could have like a predictive AI. We could even have like a conversational AI. We could have like a competition automation. Different kind of AI will have like a different places in the company. And as I said before, like as organization mature, what they need will be different. Usually, if you like the skepticism, maybe only understand AI from like a ChatGPT or like a Gemini or like just a stable diffusion, something like that. Usually, they will like only thinking about this generative AI solution, and this is like the age of the generative AI and LLM. People are already just assuming a lot of the stage one, stage two, even company would only thinking about this generative AI solution, and that's why usually as people who want to apply AI job, if I said AI job, it could be like a job that like you are like an engineer or like a data scientist, or even like a sort position that I said before, that at the very least you all need to understand an AI tools. It's usually we need to stand out using this kind of generative AI solution. So that's like in my company itself, yeah. I expect that they understand to using like ChatGPT. I understand that they're using some kind of AI tools, especially the generative AI. But of course, like trying to stand out when you are only understanding like generative AI solution, it could be a little bit harder, especially if you are want to apply for a position that not an AI specific like a developer or an engineer, but it's more like just like a sales or marketing. Yeah, but having like understanding even like just like using the tool, or if we could stand out like I understand like from engineering, I understand about the risk, about the hallucination, about the how to improve the output is actually already one step ahead of the people that just like using the tool just randomly. So that's what I actually kind of try to when I ask the some of the employee that I try to interview, the people that not the AI developer, but just like the basic one, that if you are using ChatGPT or you are using like a generative AI, how do you could actually improve that? How you could actually, what is the risk of using that? Do you actually read the data privacy? So just a little bit things about how the product work, how to improve the output is actually already make you stand out in that way. If you are using a generative solution to apply for a job that actually not like an AI, like really a developer like that. But of course, if you are already talk about AI developer, AI engineering, data scientist, or even data engineer, like now machine learning engineering, it will be have like a much more different kind skill set in there. So for example, yeah, right now the pace of the development is already really fast when we are talking about the AI. Like we already have like a lot of tools that coming out, even like a lot of concept that already coming out. Even like right now the much booming is like agentic AI. So this kind of tools, this kind of understanding of the new tools, it could actually make you stand out as well if you are become like a developer in there. But of course, there's like some tips that I want to share if you want to really stand out that during the stage when we are sorry. So start with what employer want. So really focusing on just a learning what right now the most in demand skill. Because like I what I like usually when I ask when I try to looking for a job as well, I want to learn the skill that a lot of job posting showing up. So I try to scout a lot of when I using LinkedIn, I go to the job posting and then try to finding up each of the job that I interested in. So for example, I try to look for a data scientist or like a interview, sorry, engineering. Then I try to looking each of the position, what kind of the skill that they actually putting in. So for example, if they are putting in a lot of line chain or Llama index or like just a simple Python, this kind of skill, I will try to list it up because this is like the most in demand skill. If there's like a lot of the, if you see the data, there's a lot of demand in there, it means like it is what the employer want. This is like what could make you stand out. It's maximize your hiring chances as well. And during the interview, of course, that this kind of things because it's in demand, it will show up a lot. But because it show a lot, people hard to stand out. Like, yeah, you know the skill, you know that skill. So how you can just show really stand out is building some kind of project that actually having like a real business value, a project that actually could replicate the business problem and create some impact that in the real world could be have, and especially have like a measurable impact there. So for example, like a lot of what's it called intern that I tried to interview before, they actually have like a kind of a lot of project that they actually put it in their CV, put it in their resume in there. But the problem is a lot of the project is just, you know, like a Titanic or like a Iris or like some a simple one. But when I try to looking up some, but there's like I looking up like some of the most interesting one. There's like, okay, this resume is actually much more interesting because they put it a real problem. For example, there's like they're using AI to actually generate the planning for the some kind of the business problem that they have, and they try to execute it using an agentic AI. So for example, like that in their CV, and then they try to measure their success. Basically, try to yeah, just using like increase of productivity. It's maybe seems small, but they actually showing that they could build some project with a real business value, and it actually really useful when you are want to stand out because it's showing up. It's showing up that you understanding the problem and showing up that you know how to working with AI tools. And of course, like one of the thing that I try to this is what I try even like years ago and until now still really useful until now is to optimize my visibility and networking. So what I always say to is not just like for the AI interview, but it's also like for a general kind of employment. Try to enhance your network, try to enhance your LinkedIn profile, try to enhance your engagement connection because it's not just attracting people that in your peer, but it's also attracting recruiter, attracting network, attracting future employee. I get a lot of offer in the AI spaces because I try to enhance my LinkedIn profile. I try to enhance my engagement. You don't need to like become a superstar that post every day if you don't want to become a content creator because it's a different kind of job. But at the very least, polish your LinkedIn profile, try to engage with another or even like with content creator like me or yourself, and then try to create a more connection with your peer or even like with the recruiter. So just being more active basically. Because like if you are seen, it means you are actually attractive. Then this is like some of the other tips that I try to like when I see the project is like prioritize the why over the data itself. Because what we want as like in the AI interview and the when we are using AI tool, especially with the easy of using generative AI and LM, it's easy to just generate the output. Okay, this is the insight, this is the result. But do you actually understand the business context and do you understand the goals that you want? You do you understand what the impact of your insight? So during the interview, usually if you are for me at the very least, I try to ask their project, do you actually understand what you are putting in this business context? That you put in your resume. So do you actually understand how to it work and why do you use this kind of tools and why this insight is important? So as easy as right now to create some project or create some insight summary using AI, generative in AI and LM, how to stand out during the interview is actually really, really to understand why it's happening, why you are using this. So this is actually the thing that kind of make people kind of worry in the research or even like in job in general, because a lot of things that happening, like if you are using too much AI, basically it decrease your critical thinking. And there's already research that when you are blindly using generative AI and LLM in your product in your work daily life blindly, you actually will decrease your productivity. And that's why when you are interviewing as well, if you are just blindly put it in your resume, or even like I don't know, like I know like something right now just using like AI during the interview, like in your beside you, like in your headphone, it could be actually maybe it could work, but certainly it will not make you desirable in the long run because you don't actually understand what you are saying, what you are try to deliver. So that's why still try to understand what you are delivering. Try to understand what you are putting on your resume in your project during the interview. And of course, it's related what we employee want is to keep stay up to date with the tools and the trend. Like try to continuously learning like a new technology and new skill to keep, because it's like a really competitive job market right now as AI become much more accessible to everyone, and everyone want to coming into this kind of market. The way to stand out is of course like learning the new skill, the new technology, keep learning there. Because like good if you could actually point out like, okay, you could actually try to use this or technology because this is much more efficient, or like this is much more important, then yes, it will be much better during the interview as well, and it will make you more stand out, of course. Yeah, this is just you can try to leverage AI tools to work faster. Is yeah, I would say before like you this is like a two kind of what's it called, two bladed sword. If you try to blindly following the AI, yeah, of course it will decrease your productivity, but still use AI to work faster, automate the routine tasks. Like you could just actually focusing more into the high level analysis and the problem solving to create a critical thinking. So when you are interviewing or when you are doing your job, you're using AI as an assistant, not as a replacement for the critical thinking. Because as like the landscape of the interview right now changing, like a lot of people just blindly using like the AI to answer the interview. To make it to stand out is actually having like a much more better critical thinking to understanding why you are doing that. Yeah, and then of course like if you want to having like much better time, yeah, try to optimize your resume and the ITS so you could actually tailor your resume for each job to pass the applicant tracking system, because like it's the common tips actually. It's a really common tips to keep when you are want to applying for data science job, for example, then yeah, of course your resume need to matching up to a data scientist job. So for example, like the skill that was necessary for a data scientist job. If you want to applying for AI engineer, then you tailor your resume for the AI engineer. So put up every kind of skill that actually relevant, putting all the job, putting all the job experience and the project that actually relevant in your resume. And then of course like put it like in the demand skill will actually will be really good as well in your resume. So that's some of the tips that I could share. Maybe that's the end of my slides. Maybe we could try to discuss if anything want to ask. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to
Thank you
have
very much.
question.
It was really very interesting and insightful. And I totally agree with the point that you mentioned that you shouldn't use AI blindly, because like even in interviews you will be asked more. I think I have been
Mhm.
through multiple interview rounds lately, and most of the discussion were about the projects, what I have done, why did I choose this framework, why did I choose this technique, explain this evaluation criteria, why did you use it, and so on. And if you just use AI blindly without knowing without you take the final decision and guide the AI to do what you want to do. You will not be able to answer this question. You will not be able to know the details, which usually will be discussed in most of the technical interviews. Also, another thing I noticed lately when I start doing interviews, that companies now are looking more to someone that is have like general knowledge, like not that scientist, not only AI engineer, but someone who has some engineering skills and AI skills, that scientist skills, so he can do multiple things at the same time, because he knows that you'll be using AI tools, so you'll be more productive. But to be able to use it in the right way, you need to have some hands-on experience, some knowledge in different areas. So I was asked about some ML ops. I was asked about data pre-processing, training models, evaluation of the models. So some data engineering, even some DevOps. So usually interviews now are more like looking for some, or companies now are looking for someone that is, we can call it like generalists, that know a lot in different areas, and he can use the available tools to be able to get things done and to ship fast. As because now I think the market is very competitive, and it's not the one that have the best idea who win. I think the one who can ship fast and deliver fast is the one who can get most of the funds and the money from the market. But yes, thanks very much. I will leave the floor open. If anyone has question, he can feel free to open the mic and ask his question. If you'd like, also you can leave it here in the chat, and I will ask. Um, I think we don't have questions at the moment. Um,
Wrong.
yeah, but I have some. I can also ask some of the questions I have. Um, so yeah, I can. One of the questions that I had on my mind is, since you have experience on both sides of the table, like you are like from both as employee and also as employer, what is one non-technical skill that you think that can make a candidate stand out to you when you are interviewing people? Non-technical skill, not technical skill.
Yes. For me, it's actually the communication skill, the one that I
Yeah.
really make them stand out because like how they actually articulate their answer,
Okay.
it could make a differences because one interviewer, the one that I interviewed before, like having like a similar skill, but actually know how to deliver it better. It actually make you more stand out. Especially, it's not for the technical interview. Actually, it's more if you're in the much bigger company. I would say like you are will be interviewer, not just like the your leader for the technical, but you also with HR or even like the manager who doesn't understand the technical things. How you actually deliver your answer will actually make you stand out. Like I would not say like you need to be like energetic or like
Mm,
really spiritual. It is, but it's like how you articulate it and make it much more in level wise. I would say if you are like for the non-technical user, yeah, you could make it much more ground level, like much more layman terms, basically, to make them understanding. So make communicate it well for what you actually deliver the answer, depending on the people that you are actually facing. I think that's what thing that I think make much more stand out.
mm. Yeah. I totally agree. I have noticed that like recruiters and also the hiring managers, um, they need to like I got this feedback before that my communication skills was not the best, and I start working on it a little bit. I found like one of the feedbacks that I got, that I was not giving I was somehow interrupting the speaker from the other side. So I I tried to focus very much in my next interview, that I leave the the other side to talk, and when he finished, I start talking, and I found like it has a very good, very positive impact. I think this is one of the major skills that you as a data scientist or as an AI engineer, because you'll be working with different people from different backgrounds, like business stakeholders, software engineers, DevOps, and so on. So you have to be able to work with them and communicate well with them also. I have a final question.
Okay.
If you are
Mhm.
starting your AI career today, how you will approach your first year to be able to land a job in next year, because it's as you mentioned, it's very competitive market, and it's very competitive field, and uh, yeah, what you will do to be able to land the job as soon as possible if you're just starting now.
Yeah, it's like what I explained previously. I will score all the top job posts first.
Yeah.
Like this is if I want to have like become an engineer. Okay, for example, like I want to become an engineer. I already set up my learning, so I will assume that I already started my learning. I will try to exploring all the job posting, like in the LinkedIn, in the Indeed, all the engineer stuff, and they try to listing up all the skill that actually necessary there. So for example, like Python or like HTTP, for example, you need to using LangChain or RAG or LLM ops. Try to skill up everything there. Then based on the top skill that actually necessary, I will create a project depending on the top skill on the demand right now. Then try to create a project that not standard, but actually having like mimicking a business. What actually could actually solving some business, for example, like try to, for example, decreasing the the churn with a generative AI, or like try to automate the decision to, for example, for the sales. So having like this kind of project that actually really impactful in the main project, then of course like posting it a lot in my social media, because this is what actually I do as well in my first year. I posted a lot of when I was a data scientist. I post a lot of my project that I was like try to learn, then try to create it in everywhere, like in Medium, in LinkedIn.
Mm.
Then from that I actually get my, I would not say my first job, but it's like much more better job because I said it a lot. But it's happening in my first year,
Yeah.
so I try to get myself visible for everyone. But of course, I still applying for the job like usual.
Yeah.
But try to prepare as well. Try to take the skill that most in demand, and then make a project based on that.
Yeah. 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 It's quite reasonable and makes sense, and I agree also in this approach. Um, yes, I think we don't have more questions. Thank you very much for your time and for your all the beneficial and your insight talk and beneficial tips you have shared with us. And thanks for the attendees. I will upload the talk anyway on the YouTube. So if someone didn't attend all of it or would like to rewatch it, he can find it on YouTube. And yeah, and see you soon in the next talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.